And sometimes those friends just dissipate in the wind. Because now they know, well, he's not going to, why call him? He was way above. And you'll continue to proceed forward with such a progression where you'll forget that friendship. Unfortunately, because that's what is taking place here. We've forgotten certain friendships because we continue to move forward. And those friendships were those placements, they were filled with others that came to push us forward. So just FYI, that's the information for you. Also, thank you for the question. But to commit to implementation, I want to go right back to that. Commit to implementation. When you commit, you decide. And when you decide, decision means to cut off anything that does not pertain to your purpose. Cut off anything that does not pertain to your purpose. That's when you make a decision. So whether if you for me, you're for me. But if you're against me, you're not in this circle. You are not in my daily path. I will not be texting you. I will not be calling you. Do not look for a phone call from me if you're not in this decision. And when you decide, everything else around you should be incongruent with that momentum. Because you don't want anything to hold you back. Okay? So does anyone have any questions this far before we move forward? Sure. Go ahead.
So should we look to be validated?
I go to my daddy.
I think that is a core need.
I think for some individuals that is a core need, and that means a lot for them. And so each individual, some people may say, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you validate my feelings, if you validate my credentials, if you validate whatever, it doesn't matter to me what you think. I'm going to go ahead and go forward. Some people have progressed to that level where it doesn't matter. But validation is for some people very meaningful. It gives them surety that I'm doing something, that I'm doing the right thing. That if my goal is in life to impact people and to change lives and to spread a seed, when someone comes and they say, you know what, that card really blessed me, and the words that you said, and it really touched, that's validation that I'm living up to my true core, and it helps me to know that I'm on the right path. And so it can be good, but it can also be a crutch for them that's always looking for someone to say, oh, good job, oh, good job, oh, good job, oh, good. If you're always looking for that pat on the back, you're going to continuously fail, because some places in life, they're not going to pat you on the back. They're going to expect that level of excellence. And that's the least you can do. And if you want me to reward you for doing your job, this is your job. So make you do more than your job, you may get a thank you. You know, excellent is the new great. And so it's time to rise to the next level. And so for some people, they truly need validation in their lives, and that's where they are in that walk. Is I can't go another step, I can't do another thing until someone tells me, you're doing good. Not understanding that God has already called you to what you're doing and said, you shall do more. And I'm waiting on the more. But we're still waiting to be validated on that one level of mediocrity when it's time to go further. It tells you when someone is very needy in that facet, it tells you where they are on their growth continuum. That they're still growing, and they need those stilts. They need that extra support to keep them there. But for someone who is growing or continues to grow, you can validate, hey, what you said was good, I appreciate that. And they're like, praise God, that's awesome. That's just a light bulb on their list of things. God, thank you for sending me the right path. I'm going to keep going that way. And it's just a great way to say, you know what, you're doing what you're called to do. And so should people search for validation? I think that's individually. I don't think you go on a search for it. I think it's a core need that some people need during their stage of development. And that's one thing, great question. That's one thing as far as mentors. I think every individual needs, and they need it in different areas of their life, from psychological to finances to relational. You need those different mentors because, again, they help you with the stages of development. So to let you know that you're moving forward and you are progressing, or better yet,
it's an assessment. It seems like you're falling back on this. What are you needing? What are you wanting? You know, why do you need validation from this particular person? This particular person continues to bring up the bad things or the past in your life. So what is it with this particular person that you're looking for in the new people that may be coming in or out of your life? So I would say particularly that's one thing as far as mentorship is concerned. Many of us, we go out, we look for validation from those who knew us when, but we graduated from them. And it's time for us to move forward. So when you begin to find those who can speak into your life and begin to let you know the stages of, hey, no, this is normal. Yeah, no, you're experiencing, no, this is good, this is good, this is confirmation, or it's transformation, or you're being transparent. This is good, you're confronting. Sandra's, Pastor Stuff, she's my mentor. You know, I have a financial mentor, a relational mentor. So then when I can go to them, I can say, hey, check this out. I'm kind of feeling this, or better yet, call her, hey, I had a conquer moment. And now she's able to celebrate with me. And if I'm wrong, she said, now check it out. Now, what's the problem with this? And I'm not feeling offended. But when she confronts that issue with me, so we need to be in those stages. And it doesn't matter what age or what stage. I think you still need that positive validation and confirmation in life. Great question.
Yes, I have one more question. You talked about earlier about getting rid of negative influences, negative people out of your life. So how would you cut out negative out of your life when it's your family?
Mara, Yvonne, stop. Sit down.
Specifically,
Sit down.
your dad. How do you do that and still honor? Like the word says, you know, children honor your father and mother. So how do you do that and still honor?
I would say you become the master of deflecting, which is if they're saying, oh, you're such a horrible parent. I mean, come back with, but God gave me these gifts of these children, and I'm doing the best that I can do. And I provide on every level that I can provide. And so how you see me as being horrible, I see me as being great. It's just deflecting. It's just coming back, you know. I'm created in God's image. I'm doing what He's called me to do. My goal in life is to be the best parent. Tell me, is there a book that you have that I can maybe read? How did you become such a great parent? How did you do that? Without being sarcastic, without being negative, and really being inquisitive. Because they're probably going to come back and say, well, there's not a book. This is just what you don't do. Well, how would you do that? What would be your advice? So become really inquisitive. And that's going to be very difficult, especially if you're prone to being angry and upset and they're always coming. You have to be the master of deflecting and to find the good out of what they're saying. And if you can't find the good, then you become inquisitive. That's an interesting thought. What would make you say something like that? And then just wait on an answer. It goes back to those listening skills where you don't feel the silence. I'm just curious. So, what does a good parent look like? What would they do? What would they go? If they had 5 kids in the situation that I had, I'm wondering, what would they say in this moment? And typically when you begin to deflect and you allow people to think about the aura that they're bringing to the table, they'll go back and they'll rethink and they'll go, well, maybe we can do blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's not as bad as what I thought. Well, I didn't mean it that way. You mistook it as so, because now you've just given what they gave you as negative back to them in a positive light and in the mindset of help me understand. And if it's people that you're dealing with that are know-it-alls and they know everything that you should do and every place that you should go and how you should raise the baby, feed the kids and everything that you're doing is wrong, become very inquisitive. How would you do it? Now tell me, I work from 8 to 5 or 8 to 2, and then they're going here, they're doing this. How would you do it? Because it could be that you're doing everything that you possibly could do. And the miraculous thing is, both of you might actually learn something. They might actually learn a different way of talking to you and a different level of need. Because they may just be expecting the rolling of the eyes, the blowing, the stonewalling, which is to be, I'm sitting there, but I ain't heard a word you said. So they're talking and I'm like, oh, you done? I ain't heard a word, which is also disrespectful. And so I become an active part of the conversation and I deflect the negative with something positive. And then I become inquisitive. And I'm like, you know what? That was hurtful. I'm sure you didn't mean it that way. Could you explain more? No. What you go to, take a communication class? I'm just trying to understand better what you're trying to relay to me. And sometimes things get taken wrongly. So could you explain more? And then see where they go with that. And normally if they're caught in a pattern of being angry or a pattern of being negative, the mouth is engaged before the mind has had a chance to think it over. They're following a pattern of behavior. Just like it takes you 7 to 21 times to learn a behavior, it's going to take that long to unlearn. Because you go into autopilot. And pretty soon you got a crazy cycle because no one got off the roller coaster. But you can choose. My time is up. I did 2 rounds of this. I'm getting off. You can keep going, and I'm going to stand from the outside and watch you take another trip. It's your choice.
That makes sense, yes.
And so we gave out cards